Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Her podcast. I was just sitting here thinking about my own journey. And before I jump into this episode today, I just want to remind you, if you've jumped into Apple or Spotify or whatever platform you're using to listen to this podcast, and you're still feeling confused and overwhelmed and distressed, and, you just feel like you're never going to get a grasp on this weight loss thing, this healthy eating thing, a place where you can find that ease and flow where it doesn't feel hard anymore and it just feels easy and you just know what to do. You can wear what you want. You look and feel amazing. I just want to remind you that it is not you. It is just your methods. I wish someone had explained this to me for the longest time, so I'm going to tell you again. It is not you. It is just the methods that you are using to get there. And when I say methods, I mean things like skipping meals, eating less, going no sugar. Like if you're a sweet tooth person, that's a really difficult thing to do. Going no sugar, going no carb, not eating bread and pasta, going hungry, having really small meals and then feeling starving afterwards. All of these things that you are doing in an attempt to eat healthy and lose weight is what the problem is. It is not you. You are an incredibly intelligent, smart, capable woman. It's just the methods that you are using to try and lose weight and eat healthy. That's it. I can promise you that is it. And, it's not your fault that you have been swayed and confused and you're overwhelmed, and because there is so much garbage and rubbish out there. But weight loss actually is a scientific process. And when you follow it the right way and you work on your mindset the right way, it actually works and it is achievable. And I just want to remind you that you're not alone, because I have been where you are and I felt exactly like you did. And I wasted years of my life feeling that way, lost, overwhelmed, confused, and just constantly just thinking that what was wrong with me and why can't I figure this out? And, once I did figure it out, I realized it's not me. It was never me. It was just the methods that I was using to try and get there. So this is your reminder today. It's not you. It's just the methods, and that you are incredibly capable, intelligent, smart, and can absolutely 110% do this weight loss thing when you have the right method. That's it. So I hope that's made you feel a little bit better before we start today's podcast. Like I said, I know how it feels, and it's funny. It's a really weird thing. It's like that feeling, even though I'm on the other side of it now, it's still really raw for me. I still know what that feels like. I still know what it feels like to wake up every day and be like, oh, what do I eat? What do I not eat? How much do I eat? Should I eat protein? What workout should I do? How many workouts should I be doing? Should I be intermittent fasting? Should I be doing keto? Should I be, and it's funny how, like I said, I'm on the other side of it, but all of those feelings are really still raw for me. I know exactly what it feels like. So I just want to remind you that you are incredibly smart and capable. You are not alone. And, that's what the Healthy Her podcast is all about, is about having these conversations with women so you can get the right method, so you can start doing things the right way, so you can just stop being stuck in this awful yo-yo dieting phase where you just feel like, you're never going to get to your end point. So you're definitely not alone, and I'm absolutely here to help. Okay, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about weight loss triggers. Now, we talked about this in one of our masterclasses in the Healthy Eating Hype Gal membership, which if you are new here, that is my monthly membership where I help women lose weight and eat healthy when they've just tried everything. They're sick of dieting and they just want a sustainable plan that is created especially for busy women. It's realistic, it's doable, and it's achievable with their hectic lifestyles. So I did a masterclass in there and it was really popular. So I also wanted to record a podcast episode for you about weight loss triggers because, as you know, knowledge is power. So the more that you understand what is happening to you and why it is happening to you, you are going to feel more empowered, more confident, and more in control. And you're going to let go of that whole, why did I just eat that? Or like, why have I just overeaten on all of that? Or why can't I just stop eating at like 2 biscuits? Like, why do I have to eat the whole packet? Like, once you understand the why behind everything, you get that confidence, you get that clarity, and you can start feeling empowered to take control of your food and your eating choices. So just a little bit of a flashback. So we'll go back to when I first started my journey. So my first thing that I did, and if you want to learn more about this, you can go back and listen to the first episode of the podcast, which is my own Healthy Her story. But basically what I did is, like I said, knew I wanted to make changes. I wanted to lose some postpartum weight. I wanted to do all those things. And so one of my first point of calls was to get onto Instagram. Like didn't have Instagram at the time, didn't really know much about it. I had Facebook, didn't have Instagram, but I'd kind of sort of heard that there was a lot of fitness and health and all that kind of stuff on there. So signed up for an Instagram page and made it private to start with. And then what I did was started to connect with other women that were also sharing their recipes and weight loss journeys and things like that. And it was through one of the women that I connected with in the early days on Instagram. And we just share bits and pieces. Again, total stranger, didn't know her. We just connected on a similar interest. And we were just chatting about how's your week been? Or what did you meal prep today? Those kind of stuff, acting as a bit of a support for each other. And I was saying that I'd had a really bad week and I hadn't been eating well. And I just was stuff had happened on the weekend and I just felt really off track. And she said to me, what are your triggers? And I paused and I'm like, what? I thought I didn't reply at this time, but I'm thinking to myself, triggers. I thought, what is she talking about? I don't have weight loss and food triggers. What are you talking about? And at the time, I think I kind of remember what I replied back, but I was, just sort of moved on to the next topic. But it wasn't until later on, once I actually moved further down my weight loss and healthy eating journey, that I realized that I do have triggers and that I realized that majority of us women do have weight loss triggers as well that can set us off. And they do have an impact on our progress, on our consistency, on how we achieve our goals. And so that's why I really want to talk about these things today. So what is a trigger? Okay. What is a trigger? It is basically, the sort of, the Google definition for it is it's a stimulus that creates a strong emotion, and it can be an emotional reaction or a physical reaction to something. So it's something that happens to you and it's or that you're around or that you hear or that you see that creates a physical or emotional reaction for you. Okay, so for me, I didn't realize that cake was a trigger for me. And I know that probably sounds really silly, but it was a trigger for me. So when there was cake, so whether that was cake, in the staff room at school, or whether that was cake for a kid's birthday party or cake for some sort of a celebration or a going away or whatever, seeing that cake triggered me. And the reason that it was a trigger for me was because I had restricted that food. I had told myself that cake is really bad for me. It's high in sugar, it's high in calories, it's going to make me put on weight. And that food, when I saw that food, triggered me. I had an internal emotional reaction to seeing that cake. And what I mean by that is that my thoughts started to head down this spiral. So it's I didn't just go, okay, great, there's some cake. I was in my head, internally, these are my internal thoughts that I was having with myself at the time when that cake came along was, okay, there's cake. Right, okay. I haven't had any cake for ages and I really like cake. So okay, so it's there. So I'm going to have to eat some because everyone's going to expect me to eat some. So I'll just have a slither. I'll have a really small piece, okay? And then I'll just leave it. And then, you go through the motions. And I had a slither of cake, and then I sat there and I continued to stare at the cake. And I'm like, I really only had a really small bit and it really wasn't very satisfying. So I really just want to have another bit, but I shouldn't have another bit. Oh, it's going to it's too many calories and I'm not supposed to be having sugar. And it's this internal dialogue that we have with ourselves. And so cake was a trigger for me. Now, I want to go through the different types of triggers because there are different ones. So you can have, and this has sort of been through my experience and also from all of the women that I've worked with, like through the membership, through coaching calls, through my courses, is there are sort of three main types, okay? And there's a trigger, which is a person, a trigger, which is a place, and a trigger, which can be a special event or an occasion, or in my example, a food. Now, I think for a lot of people, food would be their first trigger. So it would be that you have that food in your house or you see that food out somewhere and all of that internal dialogue starts to kick off in your brain. No one else hears it. The person sitting next to you can't hear it. The person around you can't hear it, but it's your internal dialogue that you're having with yourself. Okay. Another example of a food trigger could be around Easter time. When you just like the kids get lots of chocolate and, there's Easter eggs and there's chocolate everywhere. It's like on the table, it's in the cupboard, it's in the fridge because you just have so much of it and it's a trigger for you because you go, I'm just going to eat all this. Like I need to throw this stuff out. Like I have no control. When it's that internal dialogue that you start having with yourself. So like I said, it can be a food. It could be Easter time, with the chocolate. It could be, like I said, for me, it was around cake. It could be cheese. Like you could be a savory girl and really love like cheese and dip and crackers and a charcuterie board and all those kind of things. That may be your thing. And when you see that, when you're out at an event or, there's like a nibbles plate before dinner, that may be your trigger, that trigger for that internal dialogue and that emotional reaction where you start heading down this negative emotional pathway. And also too, like I said, it can be an emotional reaction or it can actually be a physical reaction. Like it can be a sense of panic. It can be a sense of fear. It can be, worry. It can be, like doubt or questioning yourself. Should I eat it? Should I not eat it? Or what if I don't eat that? Okay, well, do I need to go and work out more at the gym? Or it's just this awful internal emotional dialogue that we start having with ourselves. So the first thing to do is to recognize what are your triggers? Like what triggers you? Because when you can start to recognize it, like I said in the start of this episode, it gives you confidence. You feel empowered because instead of just having that internal dialogue with yourself, like for me, over time, instead of having that internal dialogue when the cake came out, my internal dialogue with myself changed because that trigger, I took control of my trigger instead of it letting it control me. So instead of going down that awful spiral in my mind of don't eat that, can't have that, only have a sliver, no, I want to eat more. Okay, now I've eaten half the cake and it's too late and I've undone all my efforts. Now I'm going to have to work out for 3 hours tomorrow. And I would just say to myself, I'm allowed to have some cake and I can have some more at any time that I like. And I started to change that internal dialogue that I had with myself. And over time, like now, because I worked on it, that cake doesn't trigger me anymore. I just eat it. I have it when I feel like it. If I'm shops and I feel like a cupcake, I'll buy one. Like it has no control over me. It is not a trigger for me at all. So first of all is working out, like recognizing when I explain these to you what their different triggers are, which one yours are, so you can start to finally take control of them. So we've talked about food, cake, lollies, biscuits. We all have a thing. I'm sure you're probably listening to this right now and going, oh my gosh, Jen, like yours is cake, but mine is Tim Tams, or mine is chocolate, or mine is like, salt and vinegar chips, whatever your thing is. Okay. We often have one around food. Okay. The other trigger that you might come across is a person. Okay. And again, remember these triggers are something, a stimulus, or something that's creating an emotional or a physical reaction for you. Okay. It can be panic. It can be fear. It can be overwhelm. It can be self-doubt. And it's anything that is going to kick off that awful internal dialogue and that awful internal quiet voice that you have inside your head. Okay. So it could be food. It could be a person. So what I mean by that is there may be a person. Now, it could be anyone. It might be your mum. It could be your sister. It could be a family member. It could be your best friend. It could be an auntie. It could be a cousin. It could be the girl that you work with. It might be your boss. This person can be anyone that triggers you. And it may be because they always have a comment to say about something that you are eating or something that you are doing. Okay? Oh, what did you meal prep that for? Oh, are you on a diet? What are you eating this week? There may be a person in your life that really is a trigger for you. Okay? And you know that when you see them, that they are going to ask you, they're going to question you, they're going to say something to you about your food or what you're eating or what you're not eating, what exercise you're doing, what exercise you're not doing. Or, like your clothes look a bit tight. Like there is possibly a person in your life that is a trigger for you. So have a think about that. Do you have a person in your life that always has a comment on your weight, on what you're eating, what you're doing? And have a think about that. How does that trigger you and how does that actually make you feel? The next one can be just like place. Like it can be that, whenever you have to go to your auntie's house or like it can be like a place where, like there's a group of women at work, or it can just be a place that you go to. And whenever you're there, like there's always conversations around food and weight loss and dieting and what are you doing and have you lost weight or are you gaining weight and all of those kind of things. So it can just be a place. The other one that can be a trigger is a special event or an occasion. Okay. And this can also link down to, when I say special events or occasions, it can also link to just family events. Like that could be, when you get around certain family members at, whether it's a birthday or it's Christmas or whatever you're celebrating, it may just be that that event or that occasion is a trigger for you. Okay. It's a trigger for you because, again, it's usually because there's a pattern. It's usually because every time you've gone to that event or every time you've gone to that family occasion or every time you've gone to that occasion with friends, that the same things have come up. Okay. It's the weight loss. It's what are you eating? What are you not eating? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you on a diet? Like, should you be eating that? Like, should you be having dessert? Like, oh, are you going to eat that? And all of those things can trigger you and they will trigger that internal dialogue that I was talking about and that internal voice. So like I said, the first thing that you need to do is recognize what are your triggers. Is it food? Do you have a food that is a trigger for you? Okay. What is it? Start naming it. If you're listening to this now, say to yourself in your head out loud, wherever you listen to this podcast, go, wow, I do have a trigger and my trigger is chocolate. Identify it, take ownership of it, take control of it so it stops controlling you. So is it a food? Is it a person? Is there a person that you just, every time you get around, it's always about food and diet and all of these kind of things? Is it a place? It is something that you go to, like, it might be a work meeting or, like a group of friends or something that it's a place that you have dinner or like a catch up, something like that. Is it a place that triggers you? Or is it a special event or an occasion, a family event, a wedding, a special occasion, something that really is a trigger for you? It is so important to identify what it is. Like I said, I wasted so many years just thinking that I was completely broken because I couldn't be around a cake without having an internal meltdown. And it wasn't my fault. It's just that I wasn't aware of it. And awareness is key to your success. So if you can start being aware of these things and just start paying attention, like when you're out and about, when you're at a celebration and someone says something to you, or there's chocolate there, or there's cake, and you're like, oh, okay, I feel a bit weird. Like, hang on a minute. Like, hang on, let's remember, like Jen was talking about triggers. Okay, is this a trigger for me? Yes, it is, right? And then you can put a stop to that internal dialogue that's happening inside of you. So we've talked about what they are. We talked about how they can feel. Like it can be physical, it can be emotional. Like triggers can affect us in different ways. But how do we overcome them? So what do we do about these triggers?
Hello, my name is Clem and I have lost 10.5 kilos in total, which is so exciting. I am a member of the Healthy Hype Gal membership and I have absolutely loved every minute. I cannot tell you how much this program has changed my life. Jen is amazing. All of the girls in the community are amazing. It is just incredible. And I am so grateful for everything that it has offered.
Okay, so tip number one for working on our triggers is to identify it. You have to recognize it. Because if you just go, oh, yeah, there's cake there, and that's she's starting this negative internal dialogue and this self-talk to myself. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It doesn't matter. And I'll just pretend it's not happening. Every time you do that, you're giving away your power. Okay, when you say, wow, okay, there's like chocolate there at my friend's house, like we're catching up and there's like 3 blocks of chocolate and it's all been broken up and it's on a tray and I'm just going to have no self-control and I'm going to eat it all and it's going to make me put on weight. When you can hear yourself internally doing this to yourself, stop it. Identify and go, hang on a minute, this is just a trigger and I'm going to take control of this. You must be aware of it and you must identify it and you must take control of it. Okay, tip number 2, say it out loud. Even if you're out in public or just go out to the bathroom or the toilet or whatever and just say it to yourself. This is triggering me. That's it. Just those couple of words, this is triggering me, will help you get back in control. Because otherwise what happens is the food's there, you start eating it, you have 1 piece, you have 10 bits of chocolate and then it's 20 bits. And then before you know it, you've just eaten so much, you feel sick, the guilt trap, and you start feeling awful. Just recognize it and go, yeah, this is a bit of a trigger for me. So I'm just going to take a breath, take a step back and get my control back of this situation. But you have to, like I said, identify it, say it out loud if you can, or even just say it in your head a few times so that you can start recognizing your patterns and behaviors. Okay, tip number 3, ask yourself, why is this a trigger for me? Why is this person triggering me? Why is this chocolate triggering me? Why is this like a Christmas event or Easter event? Why is this triggering me? And ask yourself, is it because I never allow myself to eat that food? Is it because I love eating chocolate. I love eating salt and vinegar chips. I love nuts and cashews and I just don't have them in my diet because I know that they're high in fat or they're high in calories. So I just don't allow myself to eat them. Is that why? Is that why this thing is a trigger for you? Think about it. Is that your reason? Okay. Again, identify it. Or is it that when you eat that thing or when that person says that thing to you about have you lost weight? Are you dieting? Or should you be having dessert? Should you really be eating that? Does that make you feel bad? Does that make you feel bad about yourself? Does it make you feel like, you're not worth it, that you're not good enough? Work out why this is triggering you. Okay. Is that person saying things to you like, about your weight and why you're eating stuff and you're working really, really hard behind the scenes? Does that make you question your efforts? Does it make you think, oh, maybe I'm not doing this well enough or I'm not doing this, as good as I could or putting in enough effort? Does it make you question your efforts? Just start to really identify why that thing is triggering you. Again, because this is power. This is where your power lies. Okay. Your power does not lie in you going, okay, well, I'm just going to beat myself up internally. I'm going to go through all the negative thoughts. I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't eat this. Da, 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 da. No, you're in control of this. It's your brain, your thoughts. You start taking back your power, but you have to identify why these things are triggering you. Why is that person saying something to you about your weight? Is it triggering you? Why is it triggering you? Is it because you know that you should be eating better and looking after yourself and you haven't been? Is that why that thing's a trigger? There is always a reason as to why these things are triggering such an emotional or a physical response. Okay, and tip number 4, what can you change to reduce these feelings? Okay, so you've identified what your triggers are, where they are, if they're at work, if they're at family events, are they with friends? Where are these triggers for you? Where are they happening? And what can you change to reduce these? A big one for me was just stop the food restriction. Stop not eating the foods that I enjoy because I'm trying to lose weight and eat healthy. Okay? A healthy person, a healthy, happy, harmonious woman will enjoy the foods that she loves and she will incorporate them into a healthy, balanced diet. Okay? That is the key to success. So first one for me would just be stop the restriction. If food is your big one, I would stop the restriction. But again, what else can you do to change and reduce these feelings that you have? Again, allow yourself to eat some of the food. Stop the restriction. Maybe go into, if it's a family member or a person, go in armed with something that you can say to that person, like in response to if they're going to comment on your weight or what you're eating. So what can you do to kind of change these feelings? And my last tip to help you is tip number 5. What can you do to better prepare yourself for next time? This is key because now you're aware, okay? And that is always the secret to success. Awareness is the first step. So now you're aware of it. You've gone, okay, from listening to this podcast episode, I've worked out this person is my trigger, this event is my trigger, or this particular food is my trigger. Okay, so what can you do next time to better prepare yourself? Okay, is it having a line that you can say to someone that if they're giving you a hard time or asking you about your food and your diet and your weight and all of these things? Can you say, "Oh, thanks for your advice, but I'm actually in control of what I'm eating and doing. So, I don't need your advice here. Thank you." You don't have to be rude. You can be very polite. Okay, like what can you do to prepare next time? Like for me, for example, making sure that the next time that I have cake is not at an event or not when I'm out, that I'm actually enjoying cake once a week or a couple of times a week or however I want to eat my cake and enjoy it, that I'm actually having that so that the next time I go to a birthday party and there's this huge cake, that I see that and it doesn't act as a trigger for me, okay? And then snowball me down all of that awful internal dialogue that we have with ourselves as women. So there are things that you can do, little things that are going to make a big difference to set yourself up for success next time you head into or you are around something that triggers you. But it does all come down to you taking control, okay? So, you have a choice here, right? You can listen to this podcast episode and go, okay, yeah, I think this food's my trigger, this person's a trigger. But unless you take control of it, nothing will change. Okay. You have to decide that, I'm not going to let this thing trigger me anymore. And unfortunately, these triggers in the moment can feel quite small, but they can have like a really huge knock-on effect, and they can affect your consistency. They can affect your results. They can affect how you show up for yourself. Like I know for me with the cake thing, if the cake was at home and there was no one else watching me, it would be, I'll only have a slither because I'm trying to be good. And then, you know what it's like. You go back and you have a little bit more and that's not enough. And then you're like, well, okay, well, I've sort of already had 2 bits. So I'm never going to have cake again after this ever again because it's like the worst thing in the world. Okay, so I'll go back and have another piece. And before you know, you've actually eaten a large amount of cake. You start to feel uncomfortable and, you head down that awful spiral of beating yourself up. I'm weak. I'm a failure. Whereas if you just flipped that script and you just started to take control of that internal dialogue that you have within your mind, everything will start to shift for you. I hope that you found that really, really insightful and helpful today. If you are sick and tired of yo-yo dieting and you're tired of, like I said in the start of the podcast episode, you're tired of trying all of these different methods that just don't work, jump in and join the Healthy Eating Hype Gal membership and community. Within 7 days, you could have made more progress than you have all year, because within 7 days, you will know exactly where you have been going wrong. You will know exactly what you need to eat for success. You'll know exactly what your calorie deficit needs to be so that you can finally win at this weight loss and healthy eating thing. And then you have all of the yummy food, the ongoing support, everything you need to finally reach your goals. So if that is you and you're ready to finally make a start, you can head to my website, theactivebod.com, click on the membership, and you can also check out all of our success stories as well too from all of our other Hype Gal members, because I would love to help you and I hopefully will get to see you inside our community. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and I'll see you in our next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing, because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @theactivebod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.